needed to cheat a little bit. So my name's Dan. I'm a walking cliche. So if you don't know me, I was Adam's college roommate, randomly assigned, and he couldn't get rid of me. We stuck together. We stayed friends. I was thinking about a lot of things, and there's just a lot, I guess, of elephants in the room. And the ones that I was thinking of most were just that it wasn't an easy way for Adam to go. He suffered, and it was not pleasant. It's not fair that he's gone. It's nice that we're together, but I'm sure we'd rather be here under different circumstances. And to say that he's in a better place, and that his Spirit's with us, doesn't really satisfy, because we'd actually rather be here with us. So, dealing with this emotional whiplash, it's not easy, but I'm glad that we're here together to do it. But I had a hard time putting together some words, so I'll just say a few things that spoke to me, and I'm glad what Sam brought up, because Adam having that can-do attitude and just trying new things really resonated with me. But a few things that I was thinking about was just attributes, some things that I loved about Adam. He wasn't just smart, he wasn't just clever, he was witty. He could just cut through language so well, and it took the average guy like me a long time to catch up with him. And I even remember in college, he was on the Bob and Tom Show, a radio show. If you're young enough, you're not going to remember. If you're old enough, you do remember it. But he wrote a parody of a parody song. The song was called, title of the song, and he wrote subject of the email, and they interviewed him about it. He was half asleep when he talked to them, and it's worth looking up. It was hilarious. He was an incredible planner. He didn't always pick the best things, but he always put a lot of thought into it. And I'm sure Kara can tell you a lot about the trips that they tried to make to the Dells that didn't work out as well as they wanted. But I had this memory. He lived in Highland with Tommy at the apartment. He had this puzzle, and it was of Homer Simpson, but it was like 1,000 pieces, and it was all pixels of smaller pictures of a Homer Simpson. And his solution to solve the puzzle was not to put in the border and then do the inside. It was to look at the box and take one piece and figure out where is this, and then he'll find it on. And the coffee table was full of these pieces for months, and he would just say, "Oh, I think it's going to go there." And then, but that was just how he solved problems, and he wasn't afraid to try new things and to satisfy curiosity and to explore new things. And how else would anybody try mocktails with things like basil and woodruff and lemongrass? It wasn't for me, but he always loved that kind of stuff. And then I was just talking to Andrew. So during the pandemic, we got together with him and another close friend, Keith, during lockdown. So we wanted to stay connected, so we would play video games online through Skype or Zoom, and we would try trivia games, and there was no point, because we'd win every time. We just had this memory for minutia, and even in the last week, we were at the hospital visiting him, and he fact-checked us. He said something about our machine being in Mission Impossible, and then he wasn't. And Adam's like, "Yes, he was. Look it up." And he did, and he was right. And I was like, "Wow, how do you?" Anyways, I have a very fond memory, just thinking about that trivia of 2013, sitting on my back patio, where he was talking with an acquaintance about his deep lore in Saved by the Bell and American Gladiators. He just knew these facts. He was able to have this hour-long conversation with somebody about who would have known. And that's something I'm going to so miss. It was just like, even though, media and pop culture, those aren't really things that are going to go away with time. It's a transient thing. But he had a passion for these things, and he would pursue that passion, and he would express it in so many ways. It was just a lovely attribute of him. It's another thing that, I don't even to have the song list. In college we had this plan to have a radio station, and not a radio station, but a radio program where we We played bad music, objectively bad music, but we subjectively enjoyed it. And I found it had Corey Hart and Pat Benatar and had Foreigner, and he would like own these things. Like, what are the 19-year-old, when I first moved in with him, would say, I like Billy Joel. I'm really into Billy Joel. You should listen to Billy Joel. And he got me into Billy Joel. And why? Like, that's, yeah. One of the last things that I want to bring up, though, this goes back to what Sam said. So Emily and I were talking, and we were saying to Adam one time, you know what, we're thinking about going to this concert, and I can't remember if it was Hamilton or if it was a play or something, and we're like, but it's really expensive, and is it worth it? And he just said, just do it. You know, you're not gonna remember how much you paid for the thing, but you're gonna remember how much you enjoyed the experience. And that experience is so much more valuable than the money that you paid. And we did. We went to it, we loved it, and he was totally right. So obviously I'm not great with words, and it's been hard to put my thoughts down coherently. It wasn't as long, his life wasn't as long as we would have wished. But I would say that it was very deeply lived, and it was full of warmth, and he was quite generous. And even if he's not really physically here with us, his spirit's with us, and his humor, and his heart, and his warmth, and that's gonna stay with us, that's gonna affect us the rest of our lives, and it's gonna affect everybody else we interact with. Even if he's not named, he will still be there. And I take great comfort in that. And I miss him a lot, but I'm glad that we're all here to celebrate him together. So thank you.